Welcome inside another edition of Celtics Roundtable on CLNS Media. CLNS Media, the leading online provider of audio video coverage of your favorite Boston Celtics. Welcome inside, everybody. A Thursday edition of Celtics Roundtable coming at you right after the Celtics take care of the Denver Nuggets 124-118. Celtics back in the winning column, shooting the ball really well. And that's what we're going to talk about primarily today in this episode. Evan Valenti alongside Matt Ignall and my man Zaire. Today's show is brought to you in part by Action Heat. Go to action-heat.com/Celtics for 15% off all your winter gear, and by DraftKings.com. Go to DraftKings.com. Use the promo code CLNS at first sign up, and you get yourself a free entry tonight into a $10,000 prize pool. But back to the game. Celtics win 124-118. A much better offensive night out of the Celtics tonight than we saw out of them the previous game on Monday night against the Bulls. Tonight, basically 60% from the field versus a dreadful 39%, 40% from the field on the road against the Bulls. A much better turnaround. A bunch of guys to talk about. But guys, this was the fourth Shane Larkin game of the year. Shane Larkin was unstoppable in this game. Perfect from the field. A team-high plus 14. I'll be honest with you, Sam Sheehan said it way before the season started. He thought Shane Larkin would be a very good player for the Celtics, play a role for them. I didn't see it. I'm way off on this. Shane Larkin has been quite a godsend earlier in the season when the Celtics offense, and especially their bench, needed a spark. Shane Larkin has come through in big moments.
Shane Larkin, getting him minutes has been a challenge for Brad Stevens, and Brad Stevens even complained about how, or he even, criticized himself in saying that Shane Larkin should be mad at him for the minutes that he's been giving him. And when you see him out there on the floor, like, the guy has quickness, he has moves, and you can see what he can do. And just tonight, he was a special player doing special things in limited minutes once again, but he made everything count.
Shane Larkin, 29.9 field goal percentage on the year, 29.6 3-point percentage. We remember the good games. I know. We remember the good ones because he's come through for the Celtics in a big way in 4 or 5 games right now. So, I'm with you. I look at these numbers, I'm shocked. I can't believe that he's got an 8.00 PER.
He does, and I forget the stat at the end of the broadcast. I think it was 100 minutes, the past 100 minutes for Shane Larkin. He hasn't had a turnover.
I think it was one turnover in the last 100 minutes. I think that's what it is. But look at it, you got to look, when you look at his numbers, he'll go 0 for 2 in 5 minutes, 0 for 1 in 4 minutes. But when you look at the games where he's played, 15 minutes, 14, 13 minutes, normally he does well.
Zaire, you talked about it earlier, but even before we started the podcast, about how, this is another one of another version of the Brad Stevens bump. This guy, whether it's on the Celtics next year or not, this guy's a legitimate NBA player. He went overseas, played in Europe for a while, has now come back here, found a really nice niche. Was a guy I was looking actually for a spark from last game in Chicago, and he was okay. The entire team shot poor and horribly last game. But this one, Jaylen Brown was really, really aggressive from the jump, really at least looked more competent from the field. 9 of 12, for 25 points, 5 rebounds. Much more active on that side of the floor, and without a major piece. Without Kyrie Irving, I wanted him to take a step up in terms of trying to maybe demand the ball a little more. Didn't do that as much. Tonight, a little bit different because his role's different with Kyrie, obviously. But Jaylen Brown, really aggressive, needed that out of him here against the Nuggets.
He was great. The Denver defense was also absolutely atrocious. It was Swiss cheese. He was able to get through pretty much any time he wanted. So was pretty much most of the rest of the team. Same goes for Boston. For Boston's defense, that Denver was kind of able to get to the rim pretty much any time they wanted. So not a game for perimeter defense, but Jaylen Brown has shown the ability to take advantage. When teams don't play him super tough, right? I think he's made really important strides in this second year. It's just a matter of putting it all together for him on a consistent basis. And that takes time, and that's something that comes with experience.
And once again, Jaylen Brown, I've been a little tough on him. Definitely got to give somebody props for scoring 26 points is 26 points, especially when you go 9 for 12. Kyrie Irving, when he goes 12 for 19, it makes it a whole lot easier for a lot of people on that floor to score, And so you see Aaron Baines. I mean, look what Aaron Baines did tonight. This guy had 17 points. You know how many times this guy scored 17 or more points in his career? You know what I'm saying? Maybe like 5 times or something like that. It's not many.
Twice this season with the Celtics. He did it. He had 20 against the Lakers and 17 tonight.
Yeah, it's been a handful of times that he scored over 17 points in the game. But, once again, I mean, he hasn't played with a player as dynamic as Kyrie. And then, once again, when Al's out there too. But yeah, it makes things a lot easier. And that's the beauty of, what Danny Ainge has done in getting these guys together. And definitely can't leave out the rookie, man, Jason Tatum. I mean, having a bad game, 1 for 7. And you think he let that wear on his mind? It's like, nah, man, we're going to go out here and handle business like we always do. So that to me is impressive when a rookie can say, you know what, we're not going to go into any lulls. We're going to keep doing what we normally do. And he showed up tonight too.
Especially with that start with Trey Lyles, like dunking on him in such a disrespectful manner. But, he just brushes it off.
I don't know if anybody got to see Adam Himmelsbach's piece in the Boston Globe about Gordon Hayward and his scouting report and everybody. He was surprised at how well Jalen could shoot the ball, but he was also very surprised how well Tatum shoots the ball for a guy his age. I mean, you have a rookie that comes in and shoots the ball like that. It's going to raise a lot of eyebrows. And, he talks about the rookie wall, potentially guys, hitting that wall or not. Tatum seems like a guy that might never hit that wall because of how they utilize him in that offense. Again, he doesn't do like way too much. He just does just enough in his little role, and he can find his spots and pick his spots. I don't know if that rookie wall even exists.
Last year, after 30 games, they were 17-13, right? This year, a whole lot better with a whole pretty much different cast. And you got 4 guys tonight. You play against Denver. Had they lost to Denver tonight, no one would be happy about it, but you couldn't blame them. You're starting a game with 4 guys that were questionable starters at the beginning of the season, which was just 30 games ago. You see what I'm saying? So
pretty incredible.
Once again, you got to look at that whole thing, the culture, the Brad Stevens effect of understanding how to get guys in situations where they can thrive. So if Jason Tatum starts showing a bit of a regression, I think that Stevens has enough intelligence and Jason Tatum is a smart enough player to say, okay, what can we do to not fall victim to this wall? As crazy as that sounds, I just think it's real.
Do you guys feel like Jason Tatum's taking more mid-range shots these days? Like he's hunting for his shot just a little bit more?
Yeah, part of that's because people are closing out on him a lot harder. And because he's such a good three-point shooter that you have to actually close out on him when he's wide open. And Tatum's done a good job of either, with the up fake, taking a little sidestep, putting the ball on the floor to get his rhythm back, set his feet again and shoot, or, finding his spot, in the mid-range because he's obviously very comfortable there. And much like Paul Pierce, as we always compare him to, seems to like those elbow jumpers a little bit, but even a little bit further back. And because he's proficient from there already, that was his, bread and butter in college. He's going to be obviously very good from there, from the pros. Before we move on, though, I want to take some time to let you guys know that this episode is sponsored by the great people over at Action Heat. Action Heat makes the world's best heated clothing. That's right, heatable clothing made for you, especially during this time of year. It's going to be a big plus, and it's powered by rechargeable batteries. Action Heat is the perfect solution to keeping you toasty and warm, even in the most frigid winter weather conditions that have seemingly hit the Northeast quite all of a sudden now. Action Heat clothing provides toasty warmth and comfort for the entire body, including heated jackets, socks, gloves, hats, and even undergarments like long johns. I can't imagine how cool that feels. You can stay warm and cozy from head to toe with Action Heat. Action Heat clothing is engineered to safely and effectively deliver heat via heating panels to your entire body, kind of similar to a heated car seat. They can reach temperatures of up to 135 degrees and are powered by rechargeable low-voltage lithium-ion batteries that last for 12 hours in each charge. Action batteries can also could be used to charge your own devices as you ski and snowboard and all that fun stuff. I have Action Heat. I took it out the first day I went skiing. It was a perfect time. Had an awesome time. It was always warm. I've been using it while I've been hiking before the snow hit here. It's, again, the perfect winter weather gear you can have some for yourself. Right now, just go to actionheat.com. That's action-heat.com. Use the promo code Celtics for 15% off your entire purchase. And very quickly, listen up, Hoops fans. Basketball season is back. Your favorite Harvard heroes are back. and return to action. It's time for you to get in on the action and put your fantasy knowledge to the test with huge cash prizes every single night by playing one day fantasy basketball at DraftKings.com. DraftKings, so many ways, different ways to play. Draft a new team every day. That's the second best part. You can win money doing it. That is the best part. Just ask Dan from St. Louis, Jeremy from Austin. They both turn $3 into $1,000. And you can too at DraftKings. Just go to DraftKings.com. Use the promo code CLNS at first deposit. Minimum $5 required. And you get a free entry into tonight's $10,000 NBA extravaganza. Again, minimum $5 deposit required by going to DraftKings.com. Use that promo code CLNS at first sign up. The game inside the game. Evan Valenti, Zaire, Matt Ignall coming at you here on a Thursday. Celtics win 124-118. Much better offensive night. And with that, we've kind of danced around this a little bit. Everybody's night gets a little bit easier on the floor, even Aaron Baines, when Kyrie Irving is on the floor. And I know Matt hates this question, but we're going to ask it anyway. I know a lot of people have said and talked about Al Horford being the MVP of the Celtics this year. A lot of evidence shows that. But maybe the most recent evidence of the Celtics losing in Chicago and their resurgence offensively against Denver, maybe that proves that maybe Kyrie Irving is the real MVP of the Boston Celtics.
Okay, MVP is like, it means so many things to so many different people. You know, a lot of people just look at points, but you know, Al Horford is that guy. It's hard to explain. Like if this guy, he's so important because he does so many little things. You know what I'm saying he facilitates and all of that, but he's not going to get any MVP votes probably this year at all. You know, because he's on the tail end of his career and his numbers aren't like I think he's important. I think he's as important as Kyrie Irving, but Kyrie Irving closes things out for you, and that gets your attention. You know, the end is what we remember to every show we ever go to. If the end sucks, it doesn't matter how good the whole show was. If the end sucks, you know, one of the most heartbreaking games I ever saw in my life, Michael Jordan hit a game-winning shot and beat my team. And that's what I remember. I don't remember that the Cavs were kicking his butt before that. You remember the end, and Kyrie Irving closes things out. So that's what gets our imagination. But Al Horford is just as important. But it's hard to say, you know, if he's the MVP of the team. I just think that he's just as important, and he'll matter as much, especially in the playoffs.
Yeah, I tend to agree that with this, like the sentiment that maybe, I mean, Al is so key for them defensively. I mean, there's a reason why Boston was terrible defensively against Denver on Wednesday night. They were really bad. Brad said they were, you know, luckily their offense was good because their defense was so far, and their rebounding was so far away from what they were doing offensively that they needed a huge offensive output to overcome Denver. And Al is a big part of that. Like, there's a reason why he's a front runner for Defensive Player of the Year right now. The reason why I think Kyrie is an interesting answer for this is because of what Boston really needs. They're a really good defensive team. They're an elite defensive team when they have Al Horford there. But they have a lot of good defensive pieces in place, you know, just like independent of Al Horford. Marcus Smart's a good defender. Jaylen Brown's a good defender. Tatum is a better defender than I think we all imagined. You know, Shemi can hold it down for a while. Aaron Baines is the top-rated defender by a certain metric in the NBA right now. Even Kyrie's done much better defensively. Rozier's fine. Like, they have a lot of good defenders. What they don't have is a guy that can really create offense from minute 1 to minute 48. And that's the one thing they desperately need, and they didn't have in that Chicago game. Nobody could score. Not one single, like, it was rough to watch. And that Chicago team is still bad. I mean, Chicago didn't do much better in terms of shooting the basketball. They just did a little bit better. So when it comes down to creating offense, which is like such a big need for Boston, Kyrie Irving is the only guy that can really give you that. If they had Gordon Hayward, it'd be one thing, but because Kyrie's the only sole creator left, it's just hard to find it from anywhere else. Like, Al's just not a guy that's going to go out there, take the ball, and kill his defender all the time. That's not what he does. He's a guy that moves the ball around, you know, picks you apart from the high post, and eventually will, you know, go one-on-one in the low post and have a nice little running hook or a little nice fadeaway jumper on the baseline. Kyrie can kill you at any minute, anytime, anywhere.
Certainly their offense looks more different, like when Kyrie is not playing versus when Al Horford isn't playing, because when Marcus Smart's running everything, it just looks completely different than the sort of pressure that Kyrie Irving can put on a defense.
I've said time and time again that points matter. And as much as I love Al Horford and as much as he creates points for other people, he creates easier shots for other people. There are your second most efficient scorer is a 19-year-old rookie. That's like the big. That's the big.
He's the most efficient scorer, actually, if you go by a true shooting percentage.
Absolutely, but I won't lie to myself and say he's a more efficient story. In real life, Kyrie is Kyrie. He is the best thing going when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. But other than that, your most consistent guy to score every single night and do what you expect him to do every single night now is Jason Tatum. That's a big gap right there. You got a whole bunch of other guys. I mean, as much as I love Al Horford, he's had a nice amount of games where he shot under 40%, and you go, what's going on, Al? But he covers it up with other things. He might get you 9 assists or, but that scoring there, it's been our Achilles tendon since we've been making the playoffs, since the Brad Stevens era. It's been that when that scoring disappears, it's ugly. It's scary looking. As much as the defense is great, you need people to put the ball in the basket. Kyrie Irving does that at a level that's so amazing that it makes other people better. And so, like once again, I don't want to say one is the MVP over the other, but when you think about putting the ball in the basket, that's the name of the game, basketball. And Kyrie does it better than everybody, so he's probably the MVP.
You've convinced me, Zaire.
Zaire's always very convincing. But with that, we got a jet. If you want to keep this conversation going, keep us in the mention section of your Twitter page. Follow us on Twitter at CLNS Roundtable and keep this MVP discussion going. But that's going to do it for this episode of Celtics Roundtable on CLNS Media, brought to you in part today by Action Heat. Go to action-heat.com/Celtics for 15% off your winter gear this season. It's also brought to you by DraftKings, DraftKings.com. Promo code CLNS at first deposit to get a free entry into a $10,000 pool tonight. Want to thank you all for listening. If you're watching us on YouTube, hey, what's up? Do me a favor. That like button below right here, you see that thing? Hit that and then subscribe to CLNS Media on YouTube. The 12,000 subscribers. I love all of you very much. You guys are the greatest people of all time. You're way cooler than most of my friends because you subscribe to this thing. I love you guys so much. Thank you for subscribing. Unless you're my friend and then you also subscribe. That's awesome. Anyway. Also, make sure you follow us, again, on CLNS Roundtable on Twitter. You can listen to us on the go, iTunes and Stitcher. Download and subscribe to the Boston Celtics newsfeed. And if you want to do us a real solid favor and you want to ask us a question in the mailbag, go to iTunes, give us a rating and a review. In the little comment section there, put your question and we'll answer it on our Monday mailbag. But that's Matt Ignall and Zaire. I'm Evan Valenti. We'll see you guys next time on Celtics Roundtable on CLNS Media.